Another thing that people don't talk about is when this came out, there are also videos of older Asian people getting kicked in the face by people of color. Yeah. I'm not going to mention what color.
That was black people, dude. What?
I'm not going to mention what
that
color.
That was the funniest thing to me. So it's like 6,000 people.
Damn.
Which is, yeah, it needed 2 shows. It's insane.
6,000.
But I think I actually don't prefer the theater experience just because it's like, and for some reason, the row that we were in, people kept moving, like having to go to the bathroom, getting a beer. So we had to keep getting up.
Yeah.
And it was so frustrating.
Yeah, I bet.
I think just during Burr's performance, 8 times someone got up.
What?
So that just like messes up. Like I'm not locked into him.
Right.
But it's also just you can't really see the person. I'd much prefer the club experience, but Hillary doesn't like stand. It's just it's too unpredictable. Because you can go, I like chaos, I like unpredictability. She likes order and like met expectation.
Yeah. Okay.
So when you go to a club, it can get wild. You know, the comedian could be bombing.
Yeah.
And she's gonna feel that. A heckler could go. Like there's just so much that could happen. And she doesn't love it. But how was Chapelle?
It was great. Yeah, it was super awesome. Yeah, he played the documentary. Mm-hmm. Well, first of all, he had 2 opening comedians. It was Jeff Ross.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, Jeff Ross and Sam J.
Sam J is.
Yeah, Sam J's pretty well known, I would say. She has some Netflix specials. They're both great. And then they played the documentary, which is about 2 hours long, probably. And it was. Do you know anything about the documentary at all?
All I know is that it got pulled from a bunch of festivals and stuff
after special.
After special.
Yeah, I mean it's about his experience with 2020, because he lives in a small town in Ohio.
Youngstown, Ohio. Yep.
Yellow Springs. Yeah.
Oh, Yellow Spring.
Yeah.
Youngstown. Where's Youngstown?
I have no idea.
Is that even a place? It sounds like a place.
Sounds like a place. Sounds like an Indiana place.
Yeah.
But he saw the economy starting to drop everywhere, including his hometown. So he asked this friend of his who owned a farm to open it up so he can do shows.
Oh yeah. Because he did his George Floyd little
right.
I don't even want to call it a special. It was like George Floyd rant.
Yeah, the 846.
Yeah,
which was great. So then it turned into this whole thing where he invited different celebrities and comedians. He had musicians. He had Common, Erykah Badu.
Yeah.
And all these comedians, big name comedians. Bill Burr was there. Chris Rock. Who was bombing, by the way. Yeah, because he hasn't done a show in a while. But yeah, it was a.
There's got to be something so satisfying watching Chris Rock.
Oh yeah, I mean, he's
just
one of the
this
greats.
huge.
Yeah. I was like, oh, you're human after all. He knew it too because he had a joke book. I'm not going to spoil too much about the documentary in case you want to see it.
Is it going to be released anywhere?
That I don't know.
Or is it
I don't know. I mean, that's the great thing about Chapelle is he does whatever the hell he wants because no festivals will take it. So he's just doing this 10-city tour. What happens after that is beyond me.
I'm kind of surprised he chose Indianapolis.
I know.
Of all the cities, even though I think it's deserved, you know, because Indy's dope, but that's usually a city that people kind of sleep on or pass
for sure.
By.
I mean, he didn't even have a show in Chicago, but after the documentary, he did a really quick set, And he did a shout out for Indianapolis. He was like, I think he alluded to the fact that we're a flyover state and it's the
Yeah, yeah.
Midwest. He was like, "Hey, Indianapolis, you're my neighbor. That's why I'm here.
Yeah, yeah,
That's
yeah.
why I'm taking
That's
this
sick.
thing here."
That's
So,
dope.
yeah, it was cool. And he had Method Man and
Oh,
Redman from Wu
oh,
Tang
that's dope.
Clan. They did like a half hour
Oh, that's
set,
sick.
so it was good.
That was a long. Was
It
like
was
a
long.
3
It was
hour?
like 4 hours.
You were probably getting tired.
I was getting pretty tired. Yeah, at first I was excited to see the Wu Tang Clan, and then as they were going, I was like, man, I'm getting
Yeah,
super
yeah.
sleepy. Yeah,
No, I wish I would have been able to see it.
yeah,
That would've
it was
been-
good. It was good. But yeah, you're right. It was nice to see that he chose Indy out of all the cities in the U.S. He chose our city. So
Yeah, I'm. Well, yeah, I don't know if I would imagine someone's gonna pick up the documentary just because it's like I understand like people are upset, but like it's still like no press is bad press, so a bunch of people are going to see the documentary.
right, yeah,
you know?
and Gainbridge Fieldhouse was packed.
Yeah.
There was a ton of people.
Yeah, it's a lot of stuff. It's like I wonder how much of it. It just seems optics. Like
Right.
it doesn't seem real.
Totally.
I think most people understand that jokes are just jokes.
For sure.
Like me personally, I don't believe in punching down. I just believe in punching.
Right.
And like when you say you can't make a joke about somebody, in my mind and from my perspective, what the heck? Someone's calling me. Like from my mind and my perspective, it's like it almost seems like you. I don't want to say pity them,
Right.
or you think less of them in some way if you refuse to make a joke about somebody.
Oh, I agree. I think that's in a lot of ways discriminating someone.
100%.
Yeah.
Which kind of ties into when this was when's Asian month? When's our month?
I have
May?
no idea.
Something.
Who
White
knows?
people tell us. Let us know when it is.
Yeah, because I have no clue. I don't really care. So
I like which Mark Norman had this great joke. He does like all these shorts on YouTube, and he's just like he was just talking about how he's like how quickly people forget like Stop Asian Hate, and then like Squid Game came out, like they were just getting slaughtered. But it was interesting to hear your perspective from it because like I'm like. I mean, people could tell I got Asian eyes, but it's still like, it's not like fully pieced together what I am. But it was interesting when you and I talked about it.
yeah.
And like, just share what you were sharing with me. And I thought I can laugh at it, you know, but
I just thought it was blown out of proportion.
Yeah.
Really. I mean, don't get me wrong. Like what happened was horrible.
Sure.
Like those shootings is it Atlanta? See, I
I
forgot.
don't even,
already.
yeah,
I have no idea.
yeah.
But I guess I'm just sick of everything being seen with the lens of race.
Yeah, I agree.
Really, I'm very sick of it. And that was the first thing that people thought of was that it was a racist crime, which it could very well be.
Yeah. It's hard to judge because if I remember correctly, it wasn't only Asian people, right? There was.
That was killed in that.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
Okay. Never mind.
Yeah,
I
I'm
don't
not
remember.
absolutely sure, but at least a majority of those 6 or 7 people were
Yeah,
Asian.
sure.
So yeah, I could be wrong, but
Yeah.
I don't know. But I guess I don't know. When that happened, I was like, okay, I think people are gonna reach out to me and they're gonna apologize for what happened,
Man, that's so funny.
which is exactly what happened.
Do you know how many people called you and apologized?
There were several. Yeah, some apologized. Some were like reaching out to see how I was doing, which in a lot of ways I appreciated.
Sure.
But
Yeah,
also,
you don't want to like shit on their like they were trying to be nice,
right.
And
They
like
were trying to be nice,
I think when stuff like this happens, it's like you have to take it with a grain of salt,
right?
And filter through like, hey, they're just trying to be kind.
They
you
are.
know?
They were, and out of the kindness of their hearts, they were vulnerable enough to reach out to me. But was it necessary to me? I don't think so. It wasn't. Just because I don't know if it's because I didn't grow up here. or I just didn't feel as affected
Sure.
by it.
Yeah.
Which in a lot of ways I was like, is something wrong with me that I'm not as affected by all this? But also, I I refuse to just see it from the lens of race.
I think, yeah, I mean, like, there's a racial component, but that's like, it's a piece of a bunch of other stuff
Right.
happening. It's not when you just single out race, things just get dicey.
Right. It was sort of a perfect storm too, because it was right in the thick of COVID, which originated in Asia. So
China.
So yeah, I don't know. Like, people claim that that's the reason why there's hate towards Asians is because of COVID. Whether that's true or not is a mystery to me.
Yeah.
I don't think so. I just think some people just are evil, and people are just there to hurt people. Not necessarily because of where they're from or what they look like. They're just bad people. But another thing that people don't talk about is when this came out, there are also videos of older Asian people getting kicked in the face by people of color. I'm not going to mention what color.
That was black people, dude. What? Like,
I'm not going to mention what
that
color.
That was the funniest thing to me. It was like the irony of it all. It's just like, yeah, I think at least the videos I saw, a lot of black people kicking Asians.
Right.
And it's like, but it's like, for me, I'm like, I don't blame black people.
Yeah.
It's just like, these are just bad apples who are taking their aggression out
for sure
on somebody.
And what the reason is, I'm not sure. I don't know. But for some reason, that was very overlooked as well within these conversations of race.
Yeah.
So there's this weird cherry picking.
It's narratives and ideologies.
For sure.
People don't. Somebody said this, and they're like the difference between like principle and ideology is like principles apply to both sides, and ideologies don't, because it's just like, oh well, this makes more sense. This fits my story better, so I'm going to stick with that.
Yeah, which makes a lot of sense. I mean, I've fallen into that trap before too, but I just need to be more conscious about it, I guess. So
Sure.
Yeah, but
No, I just remember when you I think we hung out during all the, and then I was just like, did you know we have a month? I didn't even know. You know,
no idea.
And then you're like, yeah, a bunch of people are calling me, and it's just, yeah. I haven't had many experiences, thankfully, where like people treated me based on like what I look like.
Yeah.
But when it's happened, I really didn't like it. I just and so, I mean, even people did it. They did it for like good, and they wouldn't call the cops on me because I'm brown.
That was the best
like
story.
And like again, it's like I appreciate it, but also I'm just like I'm fine. I can handle myself. I'm an adult. I don't think cops are hunting. I think there was a time, like, for sure, particularly in like parts of the South, where like if you looked different, like you got to be careful.
Right.
I think as a society we've gotten better.
Oh, we've come such a long way.
We still have bad apples.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I remember when we were talking about that. It made me laugh so hard,
Because I just knew it was gonna happen. I just knew, especially after the aftermath of George Floyd and all these things, and how people are acting and reacting to these kinds of things. I just knew it was going to happen. Mm-hmm. And again, like you said, that was from the kindness of their hearts. But I just didn't think it was necessary.
Are you hopeful about the future, particularly dealing with like just how people are viewing things, particularly like a lot of people they view things, everything is, I don't want to say a lot of people. There's a small vocal minority who view everything through the lens of race and the lens of some sort of power or oppressed and oppressor.
Yeah.
But are you hopeful for the future?
Well, now that I'm not on Twitter, I'm a little bit more hopeful.
Oh, 100%. Dude, I'll tell you this. I love my dad, but he we talked the other day, and he was just like distraught, and I'm just like, what, like, are you okay? He's just like, the world is just, it's just getting, Trav, it's just getting bad, and I'm just like, just shut the news off
Yeah.
for like a
That's the
few
exact.
weeks, and your brain will be detoxed, and you realize like, because like as much time as we spend on our phones, on laptops, TVs, whatever, like we still spend more time in the real world, and until that shifts to where we're spending way more time in the virtual, and maybe we're just older,
Yeah.
and we're not like the kids, but I don't know. I'm just,
And last year didn't help either. Like,
Sure.
We were home all the time, so
Yeah.
it was just us and our phones and our screens, our small screens, our medium screens, and our big screens.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's the same thing with my mom. I was just talking to her yesterday. I talked to my mom quite a bit, and yeah, she's she's already a nervous wreck in a lot of ways. But now she I know, older generations, they like to watch the news and all that, and the news has changed so much over the years, and now it's almost alarmist, which is why your dad and then my mom are pretty distraught, don't know what to do. So yeah, you're exactly right. That's what I told my mom. I was like, Mom, just turn the TV off. Just don't go on Facebook.
Yeah.
Because I haven't been on Facebook for a while, and I deleted my
Good
Twitter.
for you.
Yeah, it's probably one of the best decisions I've ever made. I mean, I'm still on Instagram, which is not as bad, except this week after the Rittenhouse thing. I was like, ugh.
Dude, yeah. It's interesting because I'm still on Twitter because it's fun. It's fun, dude.
Is it though?
But I'm like, my brain developed enough before social media to where like I can like look at it and then put it away,
Well,
but
good
it's
for
just,
you,
I know it's lively, It's just like part of me, like a little part of me, I'm just like, man, I miss Trump in office because it was just, I felt alive, things were just were wild, and you're like, dude, I'm in a movie right now, But the Rittenhouse thing, it was just crazy to see. I follow a bunch of people on the left and follow a bunch of people on the right.
Yeah.
And it's crazy to see that they all watch the same trial,
And
but they
see something
like
different.
two vastly different
for
opinions.
sure. Yeah, and they're both annoying.
It's just like, what happened to I thought the truth was the truth.
Right.
And it's just gone. People are just like, he's a terrorist. And then other people are like,
he's a hero.
Some people are like, tyranny won today. Some people are like, tyranny lost today.
Oh, man. Yeah.
It's
that's what I saw after he got acquitted. Like, some people are like labeling him as a terrorist.
Yeah.
And some people are labeling him as a hero. And I was like, man, I feel bad for this kid.
Oh, yeah. I mean, yeah. I highly doubt that, like, if he could change anything, he'd probably like, I would never go back,
Totally. I mean, yeah, I don't think he should have gone there with
100%.
an AR-15.
Well, even without an like, don't like my wife and I. We march during the day.
Yeah.
And then at nighttime, I'm like, we're going home. There's like, it just gets wild.
Yeah, because it turns into hell.
And dude, people they were in their homes, like locked up, couldn't do anything.
Right.
And it's just like men without purpose or like things to do. It is terrifying.
Yeah, it's like a pressure cooker situation.
Oh yeah, and then oof.
Yeah, but anyways, yeah, can't believe you're still on Twitter.
It's fun, dude. I get on. I tweeted the other day. No one. I tweet, dude. It's awesome. No one cares.
I didn't know you tweeted.
I think I had like a couple likes, but I tweet every once in a while just to let people know what's up. But it's fun. I think it's more of like an experience, like an experiment of like. I've listened to Scott Adams quite a bit, and he's a persuasion expert, and he is I don't know, he just talks a lot about how like framing and like how people are primed to believe things already before that actually happens. So like let's say Trump did something and he said something like racist. Like,
Yeah.
you don't even have to fact check because they're already primed to believe that Trump is a racist.
sure.
So, of course, he said it.
Totally.
But they're not going to look into it. Because,
Right.
like, there's a bunch of stuff that he said that ends up not being true. It's just the
Right.
media, you know? So I think I'm trying to just understand, and I'm a person, there's so much nuance to it. So, like, I'll read, like, a Candace Owens tweet, you know, and then I'll read, like, a Hasanabi tweet. And it's just, like, it's just interesting. Because I think if I read because I watched in the trial, I watched David Pakman, who's like a democratic socialist, and then Steven Crowder, who's like conservative,
Yeah, I know
like
exactly what those are.
comedic
Yeah.
conservative dude. But it's just interesting. Like, but I think if I watch both of those things, I'm like, oh, I could probably figure out the truth.
Yeah. Do you follow people you know, like you personally know?
On Twitter?
Yeah.
I follow a handful.
Okay.
I don't, because sometimes people that I follow just, like, all they talk about is how America's the bad guy and Republicans are the worst.
Right.
And it's all negative, you know?
Yeah.
I get concerned for their mental health, just because
Totally.
it's like, if you're just talking negative all the time, it's just like something is wrong.
Oh, for sure.
Like, either you're consuming too much, or I don't know. But I don't follow I follow more people, like friends on Instagram.
Yeah.
But Twitter, it's mostly like comedians
Okay.
and like political figures.
See, that was the problem with me with Facebook and Twitter and Instagram. Like, I follow mostly people I know personally. So when they share their opinions, whether it's like whatever it is,
Yeah.
really, it kind of fogs my perception of them. Yeah.
Sure. I mean, there's definitely some of that, but I think I'm working really hard. Like, even like Hillary and I, we talked about the Rittenhouse thing, and
Oh,
like
yeah.
we disagreed completely.
Wow.
But it's like, but she's not her ideas.
Right.
Like, there's so much more to her that I love, and like her ideas, that doesn't make her who she is.
Totally.
Just an idea that she has, and like, she's probably wrong about some things. I'm probably wrong about some things. Like,
Right.
but like, I like talking to her because it's like, oh, I know you see the world differently than me. Help
Right.
me understand, you know? So
Yeah.
I think I'm getting better at just like, people aren't their ideas.
Right.
And I don't think ideas are violent
No.
or bad. They can cause violence, but I don't, at least at this point in my life, I don't think ideas are violent.
I don't think they're violent at all. I don't
Yeah.
think so. I mean,
Well, I think somebody tweeted this too. They're like, if you start calling ideas violent, then
then what is violence?
well, then it's just like, then a proper response to that idea could be violence, and it would be justified, or
yeah,
something like that. And I was
And
like, that's
anything is
interesting.
violence these days. Even silence is violence.
Yeah, yeah, that one, and like
I don't know what to do with that one.
I understand partially, because it's just like, yeah, like, if you're not saying anything, you're complacent. But it also, to me, it seems like you're trying to control what other people value. Like, you're
Yeah.
forcing someone else, like, you have to care about what I care about. And if you don't, you're bad. And even like, okay, that's,
I mean,
when
that's exactly
things
what it
get-
means. But
get-
another side to it is, if you're silent, and by silence they probably mean, oh, you're not posting anything on social media.
yeah, you're not doing the
about
black
this.
square
Yeah.
on Instagram. A lot of good that did, you know?
I know. Yeah, which I didn't do.
Yeah, I did.
Really?
I regretted it. I deleted it immediately. I did it, and I was just like, what am I doing?
I didn't do it because I was off of social media too, so
Yeah.
I had no idea. But even then, like, I don't know really what it's gonna do.
Yeah.
Where's that gonna lead? Really, that one square that everyone posted that one day. Mm-hmm. I don't know if that.
Well, then, if I remember, there was so much confusion because
Yeah.
they were using like hashtags with it too,
right.
and then like I think they were using like the BLM hashtag, and then it started to, that black square started to fill up the hashtag, and they were
Oh,
like,
yeah.
please stop using this hashtag because we're trying to communicate, and it just got, it got wild. But yeah, the silence is violence thing, like it's that frustrates me a
Yeah.
little bit.
I just don't agree with it. Yeah, because
Yeah.
it just feels like whatever you do today, like you're effed. Like whatever you do
Yeah.
these days,
Yeah,
you speak up, you're violent. You don't speak up, you're violent.
Yeah,
But
I mean, it's. I think people lose their way when they're trying to do something good, and I think every movement starts good. It starts
Yeah.
positive, and then losers get involved who like get crazy, and then it's
Yeah.
just like, and then they take it to the extreme, and then
Right.
you just want to start controlling people. And I don't think people are comfortable with the idea of their ideas being challenged. I mean, you see this a lot in the church. Like if someone like, you talk about God and they don't believe in God, and the person who doesn't believe in God starts asking some questions, all of a sudden they get a little defensive, And I think it's fear because they're afraid that they might be wrong.
I think you're right.
And people,
Right.
the worst thing is to be wrong. And people don't want to be wrong about this because if they're wrong, they're on the wrong side of history. And it's like, it's bad.
Yeah. Which is funny because that's not very open-minded.
No.
all.
I mean, I agree. I 100% agree with you.
Yeah, and that's like the demand these days. Like, you should be a little bit open-minded.
Yeah.
Except, of course, if you disagree with me,
Yeah.
then you're just a jerk.
Yeah. And
So-
I just like, I think I still, it's hard for me to be challenged because I think my pride gets in the way. But I think the more I try to like welcome it, it just, I try to like reframe my perspective in terms of like, instead of I'm wrong about something, it's I learned something new. Because I want to learn something new. Like being wrong sucks, but learning something new, it feels better. Maybe it's
Yeah.
because I'm a bitch, and I can't handle being wrong. But
Yeah, and it's just a lot of self-righteousness either. Like, yeah, we think we're right. Like I think we just need a little bit more humility, really. Like you said, like it's okay to be wrong. It's okay to be, yeah, it's okay to, because you learn from it, essentially.
sure, yeah.
So
How do you? So as like an artist, like how do you? Because you're only on Instagram.
only on Instagram.
I'm just like I'm blown away that. Well, I guess you've been going on it for a while, but like that you have a career. And I guess like Instagram is primarily a visual.
Yeah,
medium.
primarily. Yeah,
But it to me it's like, and like what I'm learning, it's just like you want to create as many avenues for people to find you as possible.
I don't.
And you're like
know.
the opposite of that.
Yeah, I don't.
You're like this
know.
is one.
Right.
I guess you have your website too. But
Yeah, I have a website and Instagram. I don't know. I guess I'm just not thirsty like
Yeah.
what you mentioned
Yeah,
before
yeah.
recording this. My whole thing is I just want to make good art. And my hope is that's how I can pull people in,
Sure.
is because of the art that I make, not because of the way I market myself or the way, I don't know, or whatever I post on social media, whatever my political views are. That's not how I want to pull people in. It's
Sure.
exclusively my art.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think less is more, really. I at one point I tried to do multiple avenues of getting myself out there. And I'm not saying that this will work for everyone, but it worked for me where, I'm right now I'm just doing the one thing, Instagram. I even post like maybe, I don't know, once or twice a month these days. Because I don't care so much about the algorithm or whatever. But somehow that's worked for me because I know, luckily, very fortunately, I know that there are people who like what I do. And what matters to me is the people who are dedicated enough. It's kind of like that, is it the 1,000 fans kind of
Yeah.
thing? Yeah, like I don't care
But
about...
I think too, what helps for you is like your work and I could be wrong, but it tends to be hyper local too, right?
Yeah, and
So like I
it's
don't think it's not as necessary. Like being plugged in your community is probably even more important than having a social
absolutely.
media presence.
For sure. Yeah. And yeah, I think that takes precedence. I mean, I think it's, yeah, making good art, but also being invested in your community. I think those are two things that go hand in hand as an artist. Because
Yeah.
as an artist, if you're invested in your community, you're creating a better culture for those around you because art creates culture. And while you make good art at the same time, you are that's also a way of investing into the community because you're an asset. If you're a good artist, you're an asset
Sure.
to this creative community, which in turn becomes an asset to the community at large. Um, so yeah, like I try to be a little bit more involved here and there. I mean, I'm not as involved recently because teaching has taken up a lot of my bandwidth. But I think my priority right now, aside from being uh, being a good teacher to my students, is being a good artist. I think
Yeah.
that's the number one priority. If you're, if you are marketing yourself a lot and you're not really pumping out good work, it's
Yeah.
all for nothing.
And I think
Really.
that's the challenge, and that's the challenge at least I'm seeing now. I'm like, my main product, my main art is songs. I have to write
Yeah.
good songs, but now I'm just like, oh, I got to edit video and edit this audio,
Yeah.
do the podcast, and so I can see it if not balanced properly. It could just like my songs could just be shit,
Yeah, for
you
sure.
know?
Yeah, because your attention is divided into different things. So there's a chance. I'm not saying you personally, but a lot of artists, whether it's visual or performing, a lot of artists like to get their hands in different places, which is good. It's good
Yeah,
to have that. That kind of is the artist life, the quote unquote hustle. Um, but at some point, you have to be mindful of the quality that you're producing.
yeah,
It's quality over quantity any day,
yeah,
really. Because again, not only does that make you a good artist when you're producing good work, obviously makes you a good artist, but it also gives value to the arts at large.
yeah.
Yeah.
So is most of your living it comes from just like word of mouth, right? Or do you get some
Yeah.
on?
I've been
Do you
pretty
track
fortunate.
that?
What's that?
Do you track that
Do I track
anyway?
the
I don't know, like how much work comes from like DMs and how much work comes from like,
I
oh,
don't
so and
really
so gave me your number.
I don't really track that. Not really. Plus my work has kind of changed within the last year and a half. Um, but yeah, like majority of my career, I've been very fortunate enough to, yeah, to be able to work through word of mouth. Really, I've like the last time I don't even remember that the last time I really reached out to someone. Bit of a humble brag there.
Flex.
Um, but again, yeah, I think it's because I've made it a point to try to be a professional too, because I want people to trust me. Um, so again, like making art, producing good art is number one, but number two is being a professional. Like, do I turn in my work on time? Do I go above and beyond and all that? And I think through the years, I've learned that that's how I earn people's trust.
Yeah.
And that's how people or organizations, or I guess people tell other people about me, is because, hey, I've worked with this guy. He's good to work with. Then that kind of helps like earning the trust from others. So yeah, I've been very fortunate, and again, like you said, it's been mostly hyper local as well, which I'm totally okay with. There was a time when I wanted to be like nationally known,
Yeah, yeah.
but I think a lot of artists aspire to be at one point or another. But I kind of like the Indianapolis
Sure.
market because I know it now, and it's easy to be connected here too.
Yeah, how long you been doing this? Like, how long you been like independent?
Independent. Let's see, 8 or 9 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's so and I'm just like I'm trying to figure out how to do that, and it just seems like such a bear. Especially now you got like a cush life, you know.
I mean, it's not that cush. I still like it's
Well,
there's still
cush in terms of like you're not like starving for work,
no.
and you're dual income, which is like
Yeah.
super
Shout out to my
helpful.
wife.
Holla, dude, dual income. Get on that dink life, yo.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, the freelance life is not for everyone. I will say that. And I've seen it with other people too. I know some people are more fit to have that structure that's dictated by someone else. And I've quickly figured out that that's not me. I can self-function for sure. But some other artists such as like myself who are independent, agree that one of the best ways to go freelance is just go for it.
Sure.
Yeah, like don't even worry about it. I mean, when I quit my job,
Dude, my wife's gonna be so mad.
What's
'Cause
that?
We're gonna be talking, and then after this, I'm like, "Hey, babe, Jingo was talking, and he got me hype. I'm ready. I'm ready to go."
well, you got to talk to your wife about
Yeah, I
that
know.
first. But yeah, when I quit my job, like I had no savings, I had no backup plan whatsoever. Yeah, and I learned a lot of things because of it. And it forced me to go on survival mode. And I think that's what helped me ultimately, is because not knowing that I have nothing coming up,
Yeah.
that made me just
You
want to
gotta
work for it. And that gave me that mentality moving forward, which is why, I continue to do this. And of course, I also have an open mind of like, hey, if something happens, like I can't find any work or anything, I'll join the workforce again.
Sure.
Like I need to be open to that possibility. I've done it within those 8 or 9 years. I've had to work part-time at Indie Reads Books for a month because I had nothing. I had no income coming in.
When was that? When was that?
Oof, that
That wasn't that long ago. I knew you then, right?
2016 or 2017.
Okay. I think I
Yeah.
remember that.
Yeah, I was a seasoned employee for them. It was one of the best part-time jobs I ever had.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
It was amazing. But yeah, I had to do it because I was like, oh shoot, I have nothing on the pipeline
Yeah.
right now. And then last year, of course, all my contracts got canceled. So yeah, I
But
started.
you pivoted.
Yeah, had to pivot. I had to. Again, it's that survival mode
Yeah.
that just clicked.
Yeah.
So yeah, and that kind of shifted my my whole focus in art. Like now I'm doing like urban landscapes and drawing people's houses, which I never thought I would do or enjoy. But I do enjoy it. So
Do you set like do you set goals for your career, or like how do you like? I hate sometimes I use like business terms and it makes me feel gross, but I don't know how else to convey it. But like, how do you scale your business?
I mean, I used to do it like from a financial standpoint, but last year forced me to like go back to square one.
Yeah.
Really. So I think it's like beating a dead horse. Like 2020 forced me to do this.
Yeah.
So now that my my art has kind of shifted, plus like teaching again has taken over a lot. So yeah, right now my focus is on like what does my career as a whole will look like next year. Like right now I'm planning on like not teaching as much in the fall probably because I want to produce more work. And again, that goes back to having multiple irons in the fire. Like right now, teaching's taking up a lot of my energy and time, so I can't make a lot of work.
Yeah.
And I had to close my commissions because my students take precedence right now. So, recently, I have no, yeah. I guess my goal right now is to have a more solidified vision of what I want to do within the next, 3 years.
How I've been talking to Buddy, like, how do you keep yourself accountable? Because I'm a dreamer. I got the plans, but I'm like, well, I'm the only one who knows the plans. So like, if the plans don't happen, it's just like, oh fuck. Like, I guess it doesn't really matter because I don't have anything in place to keep me accountable.
Yeah, I mean, weirdly enough, teaching holds me accountable because these students look up to me. If I'm not doing a good job being an artist outside of the university setting, then I'm not doing my job right. So they keep me accountable. That's one thing. Number two is I need to talk to my other artists friends too. Like, what are they doing? Just even shooting the breeze about art. Like, if I talk to like an artist friend and I'm like, oh shoot, I'm not doing anything, then that kind of that kind of makes me feel like crap.
Yeah.
But also for my finances too, keep me accountable. Like, am I making more money this year or this
Sure.
month than? So I keep track of that too.
That's gonna be so weird because you're like, you're not like seeking. I guess like you're not searching for business. It just comes to you, right?
Yeah, yeah. I'm at the point where I'm
So it's like it's
saying
almost
no.
like how do you plan for the next year without doing any, like, I mean other than it seems like you're just creating good work
Yeah,
and it keeps producing more and more
yeah,
success, quote unquote.
yeah.
But it's for me, it's like, it's weird. I'm like, because in my brain, I'm like, okay, I want to do this and this and this next year. In order to do that, I need to do XYZ for this one, XYZ for this one, XYZ,
Right.
But you don't seem, or do you have like, next year I want to do this much in sales or make this much in revenue and or these projects?
Yeah, I do have that sort of vision, but that also, I think what I produce dictates that.
Yeah.
So like right now, I'm making small paintings that no one's seen yet. So I'm like trying to like create those, and see where that goes, really, because I'm like, okay, I'm enjoying doing this right now.
Yeah.
Will it make me money? I need to come up with a plan on how to do this. Like, is this going to be a show? Is this going to be a sale over Christmas? Who knows? Because I know that my work sells. Luckily, I mean, I could be wrong too. I could be at the wrong place at the wrong time, and it won't sell. But yeah, that's why I've been saying this whole time, like making like you have to like constantly make work, because in my line of work, that's how I dictate where the next year is gonna go.
Yeah.
Yeah. So for instance, like, I did all these commissions last year, did pretty well. So I'm like, okay, next summer, maybe from April through November, that's gonna be my commission window, because I know it worked last year.
Sure.
And then I'm gonna open up. I'm gonna start like scheduling things a certain way. Like Monday, Wednesday, Friday, that's when I make commissions, and then Tuesday, Thursdays, that's when I do my projects in the studio. So does that make sense?
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
No, I was talking to Buddy, and we might have like, for lack of a better term, and I need to figure out a better name for this, but like an artist accountability group.
Yeah.
To where we just like, we get together once a month. And
Yeah.
it's just like, hey, like, what are your goals? How
No.
are you doing? How can we help you?
Right.
Like, get to it,
Yeah. That's why. That's why you need your community of
Yeah,
other
but it's just like,
artists
but having just like a little bit of formality to it, I think it might, because I think sometimes our relationships as artists are too well, I don't want to say too casual, like, because they can be whatever they want, but like, I think adding a little bit of the formality,
some
can kind of
structure.
help a little bit of just like, oh, we are taking this, we do want to do this professionally.
Yeah. Right. I was actually thinking about doing a critique group at the Harrison Center.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
do it.
Yeah, because we have the resources there, and the artists are already there. So I was thinking of establishing one, but at the same time, I'm like, do I even have the time and capacity to
Yeah.
lead that? And I, bless you, boy.
Woo!
And yeah, and I do enough critique in the classroom too,
Yeah.
and it gets exhausting. So
That's why I'm almost like, yeah, I think like, because we talk when Art Speaks doing its thing, like we talked about critique groups, and
right,
but I'm almost just like because then my fucking brain just started kicking into gear. I'm like, oh, I could do this. I'm like, should Art Speak come back? And then I can do, But I'm just like,
is this
no.
what this is all about? This
Yeah, and I'm just like, no, but I'm just like, I think like I'm just gonna do this for me, and like get a couple artist friends who are like, hey, like, I just want to continue to create the best that I can.
Yeah.
And I think the one thing, at least for me, that's been missing, particularly now that I'm solo, it's like there's nobody who knows my goals.
yeah,
So like if people know my goals, but it's also too, it's like when you're around like creative, like even just talking to you, I'm like, fuck, dude, I need to go to work. Like after this is, I'm gonna write a song, or if I meet with another buddy, it's like, just like, geez, dude, what is happening? Why isn't this?
what time is it?
It's 3.
Okay,
But even, yeah, like talking to another music buddy, just like being in that group, it's just like, oh, like, yeah,
Yeah,
like
it
let's go.
re-energizes
Yeah,
you.
for sure.
Yeah.
So
especially when you're hanging out with people who are doing the thing,
yeah.
when they're like really making good work. I was like,
Yeah.
oh shoot, I gotta catch up.
So yeah,
Yeah.
I think I got one buddy in. I'm probably gonna see if like
Cool.
and one or two other guys are like, hey, or girls, whatever.
Are you doing
like,
all musicians?
No, I don't
Oh.
think so.
Okay.
I don't know why I would.
Yeah.
I mean, I could, but
I know that was kind of a small debate when we were trying to do art speak critique. Like, would it be like a cross pollination of different art forms?
I think there's value in diversity.
Yeah.
Because like if I talk to a musician, he's gonna think like a musician. But if
Right.
I talk to you, you're thinking like an illustrator.
Right.
And it's just
I'm,
like,
and I'm also like, if I'm critiquing your work, I'm also looking at it from a consumer standpoint
yeah,
rather
for
than
sure.
a musician.
100%. Like,
Yeah.
because I rapped on a song, and I like, fuck off. What are you laughing at, dude?
Because I listened to it.
Oh, wait, did I send it to you?
Yeah.
I don't even remember. I think I only sent it to like a handful of people. But like I sent it to some music friends, and they talked to me like a music person, and then I sent it to some people who are just consumers.
Yeah. Totally
And it was
different.
like it was a different response. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I just think it'd be dope. Like just like beta it and like see like, okay, hey, I want you guys to commit to 6 months, maybe once a month. We're gonna
Once a
get
month
together
is just enough. Yeah.
and kind of just see if it helps. Because like the whole goal is like I just want to help myself, but help other people and just like
Right.
it doesn't even have to be critique. It's just like, hey, what are your goals? Like, how are you doing to accomplish your
Right.
goals?
Like accountability and
yeah, because it's like I would love to have a manager.
ah.
I think, but I don't have one now, and it's like I like collaborating.
Yeah.
I don't like being like doing stuff by myself all the time. But if I can like collaborate and like with other people, I'm like, oh, I think that would help
Yeah.
get things going.
For sure. Like even in the classroom, like when we're doing critique right now, it just helps with camaraderie as well. Like my students are better friends as artists because we do critique because it's and like you said, what you're doing is not really just critique, but that accountability aspect of it builds trust within those people, within those creative people. So yeah, you should do it.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. How many people are you doing?
There's only one other guy
Okay.
who said he'd like. I think I texted like one other friend, but he's like not. He doesn't. I don't know if he wants his like music to be his career. So that might taper things a little bit. Because
It
I
doesn't
think,
have to be.
yeah, and maybe I'm thinking too small of just like, because I'm trying to help people get to where they want to be.
Yeah.
And a lot of those people tend to be like, oh, I want to do this professionally.
Yeah.
But maybe it could just be someone just like, I just love doing. I guess I don't know, I'm kind of thinking out loud, but I would imagine if you want to do something professionally, like I don't know, do people just do it for fun? Do they set goals?
If they're doing it for
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah. I can't imagine.
I mean, in some way, probably for them to maintain that, for them to maintain
Yeah. I sound
their
like such a
creativity.
turd, dude. I'm like, do normal people do this?
I think
So,
they
like,
should.
yeah.
And it's, I've had conversations with artists too. Like, whether you're a professional or you're a hobbyist, it's not so much about the motivation or the inspiration. It's about the discipline
Yeah.
of it. Like how you maintain your artistry and your creativity, it's still about discipline. So in some way, yeah, you have to set a goal
Yeah.
to like, okay, even though this is not something that I want to do professionally, but in order for me to still be creative, I need to do this thing. I need to
Sure.
like, I don't know, write poetry for half an hour once a week. Even those small deposits of time make a difference. You don't have to do a whole song for 2 hours in order to achieve that. But yeah, in my experience, those small deposits, those are things that really help.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yes, to answer your question, yes, there has to be some sort of goal, especially if they want to keep doing it. There has to be some sort of discipline there. Yeah, some sort of structural
Yeah,
discipline.
and maybe I'll ask some, but I guess, I don't know. Maybe I'll ask some non-professional people. But
Yeah, and maybe your accountability is like, hey, you do this, and then next month, you'll have it ready for us to look at.
yeah.
So,
You want to
Yeah.
join?
okay.
You want to do it?
All right, you don't have to invite me just because we're talking about
Well,
it.
no, but I'm just like, well, we're just like talking about it, and I'm just like, why wouldn't Jingo be a part of it? I just want to see. I don't know, because like I'm a dreamer, but I have a hard time accomplishing my dreams because I get so much euphoria from the dream,
Yeah.
just thinking and living in La La Land, but then like actually doing it, I'm like, oh fuck. But what I know helps is like when I go work with my my producers, it's like it's a vibe, like we'll go for a few days and then it's like afterward I'm like, hey, let's get this done, and
Yeah.
then I go work on that
Right.
because there's some accountability to
Totally.
it.
Yeah, because if you're just by yourself, then
Yeah.
and you're not motivated enough, then you're not gonna do anything.
Yeah.
Really. Which it's good that you're aware of that you're a dreamer.
Oh yeah, dude. It's
Yeah.
like it's great, but it sucks. But I also think Adderall would probably cure that real quick because I'm like, I had this dream and then it kicks. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna go do that.
And there are people who will tell you like, maybe that's a little too big. Maybe
Yeah.
you need to like scale it down a little bit. So yeah, it helps to have people with different points of view and different experiences to help with that. So yeah, dude, I'm in.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll give it a shot and see what happens. And I might see if one more person wants to join, but
Are you keeping it small?
yeah, I think
Okay.
so. I think probably max 4.
Okay. Wow, pretty small. Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, maybe more, but at least like because
Keep it small at least for the start.
it's a beta thing, and like if like hey, this like if we actually we actually accomplished the goals that we want to accomplish, it's like maybe we could help other people and just
Yeah.
like help like hey, this is
and
what we're
start
doing,
a nonprofit and
and then start a nonprofit and then give up 3 years in. bring in your music icon and then like we peaked and then we're out.
Man. Yeah.
But yeah, maybe we'll do it.
Yeah.
Well, as we're like wrapping up, I think I want to. I've been thinking about like. I can get kind of wild. I talk shit. It's fun, but like sometimes I'm like. I think my wife tells me this. Like sometimes I come off abrasive, and I don't mean to. But I think for you, it's like we've known each other for years. There's like history.
Yeah.
You understand my perspective.
Yep.
But so I think I'm going to start ending the podcast with asking the guest what gives you hope. Because
Wow.
I know we talk like a lot of people they talk, which maybe I should have primed you for that. But I don't know, like people just say stuff and like you talk about politics or climate change and it's just like, oh my gosh, all is lost. But
Yeah.
like I'm an optimist. Like I'm always looking at like the glass is always half full to me.
Yeah.
So for you, like as you see the world, what makes you hopeful or what gives you hope?
Man, what gives me hope? I mean, that's a loaded question.
Sorry.
Yeah, I should have been.
No, well, I've been thinking about it and I was like, we've been spitballing, you know?
Yeah,
like
for sure. Yeah. I mean, my faith comes into play
Sure.
when it comes to hope. I think ultimately my hope lies in my faith. But I think, yeah, what gives me hope is that there are still people who are willing to have conversations, whether or not they they believe what they have the same values or the same beliefs. And I see that happen on a smaller scale, really. Like, yeah, like I have a lot of friends who don't believe the same things I do, yet we maintain a good friendship.
Yeah.
Or even family members. We don't have to share the same beliefs, but we still get along, and we can still sit in the same table and talk and get along. I think those little things give me hope, because what we see, like, in our little screens is just half the story, really. The full story is the here and now, is what, like conversations like this, like these are the things that matter, not the ones that are, behind a screen.
Artificial, yeah.
Right. What gives me hope is that the real world still exists. And I get to experience that every day, whether it's with, my wife or my friends or my family or my students. Those interactions give me hope.
Yeah, oh no, yeah, for sure. It's like when like me and my wife take my dog for a walk.
Yeah.
And we just like, particularly in the fall. If the fall is when I feel it the most, because it's just like, I don't know. There's just like, there's something about an Indiana fall, or maybe just a Midwest fall, but you kind of just walk around and there's just like there's a hope.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's a good feeling in there, and then you see people and we're waving, smiling at each other, having conversations.
Yeah.
And it I don't know. It feels good.
Yeah. Having those real world interactions give me hope. Nice. For sure. Yeah.
Dope.
Totally.
Where can people find you? Give us all the goods.
You can find my website, Jingo. It's like bingo with a J, DLR.com, jingodlr.com. And on Instagram.
Did you change it?
Yeah, I changed it last year.
Wasn't it Jingo Illo?
It was jingoillo.com for the longest time. But
why'd you change it?
Because I had nothing to do last year. That was my project, was rebrand
What's DLR?
myself.
Oh, De La Rosa.
Yeah.
Oh,
JingoDeLar.com, and my Instagram is still Jingo Illo. Jingo ILLO.
You haven't changed that yet?
No, I'm not going to change that. It's too much work.
But it's consistent.
What?
What about consistency?
I don't really care that much.
Good.
Yeah. Well, thanks for having me, man.
All right, man. I'll
Yeah,
see ya. All right,
appreciate it.
y'all. Be good. Thank you for listening.
Peace.